What is up, Sports Geeks, and welcome back to another mock draft Monday. This is the first one to actually be posted on a Monday. The last two have been like more Tuesday or Wednesday, but this one is going up on Monday. Joined by Alec, as always. Alec, pleasure having you on, and always good to hop into the draft. So we have last week's and the weeks before. We've gone quarterback early with the Titans here. I'm gonna hop right into this. You had the first pick last week, so I'll take it this week, and I'm gonna go Abdul Carter. I think that it's a real possibility for them to not go quarterback. We've gone quarterback the last two times. I think that they probably will if I had to put money on it. But look, we're doing a mock draft every single week from here until the week of the draft. We have to spice some things up at some point. We'll probably have some more creative ways to do that here in the weeks to come. But for this one, I'm just going to go Abdul Carter here, edge. They have a decent interior defensive line. I'd like Devondre Sweat. I really like Jeffrey Simmons, but they need that edge rusher, and I think Abdul Carter is exactly that.
Yeah, no, I love Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter is like the number one player in the draft for me. I mean, you could argue Travis Hunter just because he can do both.
Yeah,
Abdul Carter has got to be a top 2 talent. Like I'm not.
Yes.
Like no offense. There isn't other than Travis Hunter. There's not a better player than Abdul Carter in the draft.
Completely agreed. Yeah. So it gets kind of like interesting too. Is if he doesn't go one, where's he go? How far does he fall? Because he's clearly a top 2 player in the draft. At what point do teams say we don't like a team like Jacksonville if he falls to 5? Do you say I don't care if we have Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, we're taking him? So it'll be interesting to see that. But for today's purposes, we have Abdul Carter going a 1.
Yeah, and then this makes it easy for the Browns at 2. I think they go Cam Ward.
Okay.
I don't know if, and this is speculation. I haven't seen anything about this, but I just really don't see like Shedeur or like Dion wanting him to go to Cleveland. And I'm just being honest. So I could see Cam Ward play in the AFC North. He's more stocky, kind of fits the build of like the cold weather AFC quarterbacks, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Shedeur's not small, but Cam Ward's like kind of bigger. So I really like Cam Ward. I think they could get the most out of him. I think it'd be a really good pick for them.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that pick. I'm thinking about this here, right? And I'm going to go Travis Hunter here at 3. So I think that it's a possibility for them to take Shedeur Sanders. Yes. I think it's a possibility to take Cam Ward if he's there. Yes. But I think that with Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll here is that if you're going to take a quarterback that maybe is helping you be good in 2 to 3 years, you're in your last year. You don't have to necessarily even make the playoffs this year, but you have to be in the playoff hunt this year. And I don't think that Shedeur Sanders does that for you right away. I think Travis Hunter certainly helps you do that right away. I also think that you look at their division, you have a healthy Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb. You have Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin, right? You have Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown. You need somebody that can cover that's not named Deontay Banks because he is really struggling right now. And I really like Travis Hunter here. I also wouldn't be surprised if they solve the quarterback through free agency, through a trade. I wouldn't be surprised Kirk Cousins be a name to watch, right? Justin Fields might be a name to watch. I think there's plenty of ways that they could go to find somebody that's already in the league that can temporarily solve that, and then take somebody that's really going to boost your roster at third overall pick here.
Yeah. No, I love that. So here at 4, this is tough because Mike Vrabel's all about defense. So this is where it's kind of tough. Like I could see them just set the tone going Mason Graham here, but I'm going to go Ted McMillan. I'm going to go T-Mac. This is a great spot for Drake May to get a weapon. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger at 4. That's why I was kind of thinking maybe Mason Graham, but T-Mac, so he's tough to pass up on.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's a physical specimen and is able to I think he's able to bail out a young quarterback a lot because what is he, 6'4" and 6'5", 212, and he's gonna have a great vertical. He's good after the catch. He's just an overall great prospect.
Yep.
So no, I like that pick a lot. I'm gonna go Will Johnson. This is a fit that I love. Like if we were to go through and just say like pick our favorite fits of the draft, Will Johnson to the Jags is maybe one of my favorites because they need secondary help so badly. And I think that as I am looking at their defensive line isn't terrible. They have great edges. Obviously, the interior of their defensive line could be bolstered. But I just think that Will Johnson is your CB1 coming in.
Yep.
They need corner help. They need secondary help so badly. I love Will Johnson to the Jags here.
No, I love that pick. They need a lot of stuff. They need a lot. So I'm kind of looking for this one. So you kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't know if you're going to go Will Johnson here. Raiders are tough because they have Christian Wilkins. So if Mason Graham fell, don't know if they'd go interior D line. I'm actually going to go somewhere here where maybe it's a little of like a hot take. It's not a hot take, I don't think, but I'm going to go Mykel Williams here.
Okay.
From Georgia. And the reason I say this is I think he's going to have an insane combine, like an absolutely insane combine. And I know Max Crosby's still there. I know they still have the Tyree Wilson thing, but it's not going to be like the same GM that drafted him.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of maybe on borrowed time. He hasn't produced. I think Mykel Williams is going to have an insane combine.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a lot like Trayvon Walker. I think we've talked about that, of somebody that's going to get a lot of hype as they continue to rise up boards, as people just sit there and you just look at his pro day, you just look at his combine stats, right? You watch what's the most recent film? Well, it's the NFL Combine. Well, he will be one of the most freakishly athletic human beings there. So I like that. Also, the thing about is Max Crosby is 28, right? And has a massive contract, right? And he's got 2 years left on it. So maybe what you're saying is maybe we try to move on from Max Crosby after this year on his final year of his contract. And for a year, we want Mykel Williams to kind of like sit behind him and learn from him. So maybe you do that for 2 years, and then you want to have Mykel Williams thrive in the final 3. Either way, you can never have too many edge rushers. I like that fit there. And this is where it gets kind of interesting, because for the Jets, you do still have Shedeur Sanders available. And I think that might be where they go here, because Aaron Rodgers is not the solution long-term at all. But I do think that maybe they see what was done in Green Bay with Jordan Love, and they sat a guy behind Aaron Rodgers, right? That was a much better version of Aaron Rodgers. Let's not deny that. But you sat a guy behind Aaron Rodgers, and then you have Shedeur Sanders. And then you have Jordan Love, thrive into that role. I think Shedeur Sanders, maybe you think that's what he's going to do, is sit a year behind Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you say we're just going to have you throw you into the fire here. But I think Shedeur has much better weapons here than what like Cam Ward's going to have with the Browns, right? Like here you have Garrett Wilson. I don't think Devontae Adams is probably going to be there, but you have Garrett Wilson, who's a true wide receiver 1. Maybe Garrett Wilson wants to get out too. Who knows? But either way, I like the concept of the Jets, if Shedeur is still available, just saying, screw it, we're going to take him.
Yeah, and the reason I kind of want to clarify as well why I didn't take Shedeur at 6. My first reasoning would be, I think the Raiders, depending on who they hire, could also be on the no list for the Sanders. Like I know Tom Brady's there, but if they hire a defensive coach and they're scared about it working out, I could see that. Also could see like Kirk Cousins going there.
Yeah,
they go a different direction. Anyway, so at pick 8, I'm going to go Mason Graham here. This is kind of like a shoe-in pick. Mason Graham at 8 would make actually a lot of sense. I know they have Derek Brown, but that D-line would be pretty nasty actually with them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was going to take him at 9. So I'm thinking now, obviously I think that the offensive line could still use some help. I mean, you have Talise Fuago, who I really like there. So I don't think tackle is really in play here. Will Campbell, I think, certainly is a possibility. And I know you're going to take him at 10 probably if I don't take him here. I should say probably. I can't confirm that.
Yeah.
But I think there's Mike Green being this high is very interesting.
I'm just getting a lot of buzz because I think people see that he had 17 sacks and they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't know that he flew up. I mean, even from last week's to this week, I didn't realize that Mike Green.
Dude, I don't even think he was in the top like 55 last week.
We didn't draft him last week, and at the end of the draft, he was not seen here. So, and now he's 11. So somebody at PFF loves him. But this is where this is just a tough spot for me. and where you go. Do you go best player available, or do you just go
Stuff.
try to find a specific fit? Because I do think that if you try to find a specific fit, I think Luther Burden could come in because they need receiving help. I think a lot. Olave, I think the concussion concerns to me are a
Yep.
lot bigger than what maybe people are thinking. And I think that the Saints organization, that might be bigger too. Like the concussions that he suffered this year were not like oh, I like, somebody, I got hit and then it's a little bit of a concussion. It's like, dude, you were borderline knocked out
Yeah.
twice. And I think that's a lot bigger of a concern. I think he's like, I mean, if in week 1 he gets rocked and has like another concussion,
Yep.
it could be a typical 2-3 week concussion that holds him out for half a year because of how concerning that is. And he's like 2 concussions away from maybe just saying I'm done. So that's a lot of hypotheticals there, but I think Luther Burden does help the Saints. You can't solve the quarterback problem here right away. So how can you solve it? You can do it by giving him a weapon here,
Yeah.
in which that's what I'm going to do here at 9.
I'm going to make this really easy at pick 10. Quick, super easy. It's not going to be Will Campbell, by the way. It's going to be Kelvin Banks from Texas. This needs to be, I don't care what tackle spot you put him at. He probably be left tackle though, but he needs to be your left tackle, and I think I like him over Will Campbell just because he's more of like a tackle.
Okay, yeah, I was hoping that you would take Will Campbell because I was going to take Kelvin Banks here as my Trent Williams
replacement. Kelvin Banks to the 49ers would be nasty, by the way. That'd be
awesome. That was my kind of hope there. So now I'm thinking about this, and I'm a little bit torn on where to go from here because I think that there's a lot of different spots they could go. I think it's probably going to be in the trenches either way. And I'm thinking probably just going to go Will Campbell. I would prefer Kelvin Banks because I think tackle is a little bit more of a need. But I mean, I just think with Trent Williams' aging, that tackle is a little bit more of a need. But I love Will Campbell as a prospect. I think he's maybe he can play tackle. I don't, it's interesting to see what his arms come in at lengthwise, but either way, he's a great football player. He can play guard certainly, and I think it's a good fit there.
I've caved. I finally caved to you and the rest of the community. Genty at 12. I've caved. I tried hard to find a way that they would not take Genty at 12, but I think Jerry's gone off the deep end, so they're taking Genty at 12.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a hard one to not pick. I mean, it's.
Dude, think about this: Genty to 10 to the Bears would be with Ben Johnson would be a really fun offense.
Yeah, it would be.
Nobody's blocking for him, but it'd be a really fun offense.
Correct. Yeah, we'd get to see like his Ollie Gordon senior year.
I'm trying to think of like a running back that is. I mean, think of a running back in the NFL that gets like no. I'm blanking right now, but they're. I don't know.
Like Saquon with the Giants.
Saquon with the Giants. That's a great example.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, I mean that would be kind of funny. Real quick, Ben Johnson going to the Bears is really painful. I knew we were going to lose him as a Lions fan. I knew I was going to lose him, which I'm not going to talk about the Lions at all here. So, just due to the complications, but I knew we were going to lose him, but having to play against him twice a year is like literal worst case scenario. But all right, on that, we're officially done with the Lions. We're going to move on. Malachi Starks to the Dolphins. I know I was talking about earlier, maybe my favorite fits of the draft. This is probably my favorite one. Malachi Starks to the Dolphins. You have Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland, both free agents. So both safety positions are open. Maybe you bring one of them back. Maybe you bring both of them back. Who knows? But both of them are unrestricted free agents right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of them leaves. So Malachi Starks, safety is a big, big need for this team, and Malachi Starks is beyond instinctive. He plays so fast. He plays downhill. He's great in the passing game. He's a great tackler. I love Malachi Starks as a prospect. Safety position is just not valued. If it was valued, he's a top 5 talent in this draft to me.
Yeah, no, I love Malachi Starks. And then, so for pick 14, raw athletic score is all that the Colts pick off of. We've talked about this for over a year now, going back to last year's mock drafts. But I'm not going Tyler Warren here. I'm going to go James Pierce Jr. here. When he runs a 4.4 and has a 40-inch vertical,
Yep.
Chris Ballard will not let him get past pick 14.
Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, I think that there's a there's a real chance that what we were saying about Micah Williams earlier, right? He's going to fly at boards. James Pierce Jr. is very similar to that. I think he's going to fly at boards. He's going to run a very fast 40. And I wouldn't be surprised if he slowly creeps up as a maybe mid to late first rounder right now. If he even enters that mid, I wouldn't be surprised if by draft time seeing him at pick 18 is like, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah.
So, I like that there. So over to me with the Falcons here at 15. It is funny. We talked about this. They love drafting skill positions here early. And I'm trying to figure out what the best fit here is for them. And there's a couple different ways I could go here. I'm going to go with I can never. Oh, that's interesting as well. They have Demetrius Knight Jr. here above Jahad Campbell. They have had a lot of movements here. I was trying to find here, and Jack Sawyer flying up here too.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked the.
What
I cannot find him right now. I don't know where he's. Jalen Walker. I looked up linebacker. He didn't pop up. Oh, because he fell that much. Interesting. There's been a lot of movement here.
That's really interesting.
Jalen Walker is not the fourth best linebacker in this draft. There's a reason why his ADP is 15 points.
Jalen Walker is not going 52nd in the draft.
No, I'd put my mother's life on the line. Sorry, Mom. But Jalen Walker, I think he edge and linebacker are both. I think needs. Matthew Judon, you trade for him, but he's a free agent now. Look interested to see what they do there. But I think in the 3-4 defense too that Raheem Morris likes to run, Jalen Walker's a guy that, if he needed to, could line up as an edge, but also as an off-the-ball linebacker is going to be great as well. So he's on the ball, off-the-ball linebacker, and I think that's kind of just the best of both worlds. You need edge help, you need linebacker help. Jalen Walker can do it both.
Yep. I love that. And then for this pick with 16, I love this pick. I'm going Josh Simmons here from Ohio State. I think this is a really good fit.
Yeah, pairing him up with probably not Ohio State teammate ever, but Ohio State alumni there with Paris Johnson Jr. there also with Arizona. So I know I like that. Bengals here. This one gets it's some interesting. I'm going to go, but Kenneth Grant is where I'm going to go here. I think they need defensive interior help big time. That DJ Reader hole is still there, and you could go offensive line. I think wide receiver maybe, but I think I like the chances of Jamar Chase is going to be there no matter what. And T. Higgins maybe he's going to be there. If he is there, obviously there's no way you go wide receiver. But I think even if he's not there, wide receiver is a need, but you have Jamar Chase still. So you need a wide receiver too, or you need a every down, please help us in the run game defensive tackle. I think Kenneth Grant would I think the defensive tackle is significantly more valuable than a wide receiver too.
Yeah, and as a Bengals fan and Ohio State fan, we love our Michigan guys, and they usually don't pan out. So, so I do like Kenneth Grant, though. We need the interior just anything. Like, I don't even care if it's pass rush. I don't care if it's run help. We need something in the middle. I like that pick. And this is tough for the Seahawks. This is tough. It might be a little too early, but I'm going to go Jahad Campbell here.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
I was going to take him next pick. So,
okay, all right, sounds good.
So
he's either a Todd Bowles or a McDonald guy. So it seems like it just fits. Like he's just gritty and he's really fast. He can run sideline to sideline. It just seems like a really good fit for the Seahawks or the Bucs.
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly I would agree. I liked him as a almost wannabe Devin White, right? Or what we thought Devin White was going to be, right? Yeah. To help Levante David, who is a free agent. I can't imagine.
Retire.
What?
I said he needs to retire, dude. He's 35. He will not be able to walk in 10 years if he plays another year of NFL football. Like, for him and his family's sake, he has been you know what I'm saying? He has been in the NFL for same with Bobby Wagner. These people are still playing at an elite level, but it's playing linebacker in the NFL is so physically demanding. Mm-hmm. Where it's I love watching him play, but dude, you have to be in insane shape to play NFL linebacker at 35.
Yes, yes, and to consistently be not only are you playing, you're in every down, every snap linebacker
for the
that is
last like 12 years.
that's been elite for
Yeah.
every one of those 12 years. So, no, I like that. This is where I think I'm going to go edge here because I think that their defensive line is great. I like Kalijah Cansey a ton out of Pitt. And obviously you have Vita Vea there too. But this is where it gets interesting. Where do you go at the defensive line? Mike Green has flown up the boards. I do think he's very, very talented. I don't necessarily know if he's top 20 pick talent. I think he's a late first rounder, early second rounder, in my opinion. Like, I think a guy like Shamar Stewart, I like him a lot more. I think he's got enormous size. He's somebody that probably flexes to the defensive tackle position sometimes. Nick Scorton, I like a lot more. I think he's a lot more of a speed rusher. He can get after the quarterback. He also has a good balance of power rushing. Jack Sawyer, I think, is a stud too. I'm going to go Scorton here. I think he's probably just the best fit here. Mike Green is certainly tempting, but I think he's going to get off the board today. Don't worry. But I just don't know if I don't like it that early.
Yeah, no, Mike Green's definitely benefiting from like people figuring out like who he is.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like just like the sheer amount of time between the end of the year and the draft time, like is really going to help Mike Green.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Agbuka here. This is a pretty easy pick if he's on the board for Denver, don't you think?
Yes. Yep. That's just yet again. I would have taken him with Pitt.
It's like JSN. It's like JSN falling a couple years ago to Seattle. It's like you just have to take him. Like if he's there, you just take him.
Yep. Nope. I completely agree. This is where for me, I'm going to go. I'm probably going to go corner because I'm looking at this and I have you have Joey Porter Jr., you have Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton's a free agent. He's also 29 years old. Quarterback issue, I have no idea what they're going to do. You're not solving it with the 21st pick right now, though.
No.
And then I look at the wide receivers here. It's a drop off. The three are off the board. And so I do think this is one of the times where PFF got it right. These are the three biggest glaring needs to me. They've done a great job rebuilding their offensive line. And I think it has to be corner. Now, when I look at corner, Ben Morrison's there, Jedi Barron. I like Siobhan Revelle a ton. I really don't know who the CB1 is in this class. I think for me, it kind of bounces between Siobhan Revelle and Ben Morrison, but I love him. I'm going to go with Siobhan Revelle here at 21.
This is the easiest pick I've ever made. It's Tyler Warren.
Yeah, I also, real quick, not to interrupt you, I said CB1. It's not CB1 because you have Will Johnson and Travis Hunter. It's the CB3 that's completely.
Well, but it's like really the CB, like it's the CB after the obvious two.
Yes. The clear first tier is for CBs, Travis Hunter and Will Johnson. Yeah. The tier 2 then is like, I think it's a big chunk of guys, but I have no idea who's going to separate themselves. If anybody separates it, and it's just team preference for the first and that second tier.
Well, it's also we're going to figure out the arm length. We're going to figure out the 40s, the vert, the three cone. We're going to figure out all that. So broad jump, that's another important one for DBs. But yeah, Tyler Warren to 22, football guy gets drafted by a football guy. It just makes sense.
Yep. No more necessary explanation, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, that just makes
football guy to a
too much sense.
Yeah. I'm going to go Ben Morrison now. I know I just talked about going corner back to back. I think there's a real possibility that Green Bay doesn't have Jair Alexander on the roster next year. I think there's some drama maybe going on there. Maybe he wants out, whatever. Either way, corner is a glaring need for them if Jair's out. If Jair's not with them, it's a huge need. If he's still with them, it's still a need. So I like the fit of going corner here. I also don't think there's anything that really stands out to me, right? We talked about wide receiver position. There's nothing here at the edge position. Maybe there's somebody that you absolutely love, like Shamar Stewart, that can then flex into your interior defensive line as well. But I'm going to go Ben Morrison there. Benjamin Morrison. I don't know if it's one of those like Patrick Mahomes where it's like, don't call him Pat, call him Patrick. Maybe it is. If it is, I apologize. But Ben Morrison is a lot easier to say when you're ranting here.
All right, so I'm going to go Jahdae Barron here. His draft stock shot up after, I know he had help, but Jeremiah Smith had one catch for 3 yards.
Yeah.
And he was the main guy guarding him. I think that says a lot about your abilities to play quarterback.
Yeah. Nope. Completely agree. That's yet another one that people. What's the last taste in your mouth? Well, for Johnny Barron, the last taste in your mouth is going to be uh, just I don't locking down Jeremiah Smith with plenty of help, but
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith was locked up. So this is where with the Texans here. I know they have wide receiver listed as a need. I don't think it's a need here. You have Nico Collins, who I think is great. I know Stephon Diggs is technically a free agent this year, but you still have Tank Dell. I mean, he's coming off of that brutal injury, but you still have Tank Dell and Nico Collins. Wide receiver is not your number one need here. I think probably the interior offensive line is where I would lean a little bit more. I know Shaq Mason's there, your right guard. He's 31 years old. Getting a little old. I just don't know if I can go find somebody that's going to fill that right now, right? Like I don't love the interior offensive lineman available. Let me just say that. I do think that when you go defensive interior, there's certainly some names I like, and I think that's probably where I'm going to go. So
Yeah,
I think Walter Nolan's there, Derek Harmon's there. Both of those guys I really, really like. Derek Harmon, I still am confused why he is not the 86th best player in this draft. He will be a first, at worst, early second round pick. I don't understand that. But Walter Nolan, same thing. Walter Nolan's going to be a first round pick. I'm going to go Walter Nolan here. I think that his best of the best highlights are unreal. And I really like the upside here with Walter Nolan. And pairing him with this pass rush of Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson is going to be brutal for anybody in the AFC South that has to play against them twice a year.
No, I absolutely agree. No, I absolutely agree. Walter Nolan's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
And if it's not, it's due to something that's not football related.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go Armand Membu here.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of like the Rams just need offensive line help. And they had trouble. Well, we're recording this on Monday, so they had a little trouble yesterday blocking. I know it was a snow game, but if Stafford's going to come back, they need help. So I think it makes sense for them. Their defense is young. I don't think their defense was the problem yesterday.
Right. So I would agree with that. Okay, so over to me with the Ravens here at 27. I'm going to go Josh Connerly Jr. I think you need a Ronnie Stanley replacement. He's a free agent. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I think either way, tackle's a need. And even if you are going to bring Stanley back for a year, having Josh Connerly behind him is going to be very beneficial. And I think that bolstering this offensive line, wide receiver, maybe you want more, but I think Rashad Bateman's had a great close when end of the year.
Yeah.
And also you have Zay Flowers, who's a good receiver. And the primary attack in this Ravens game is the rushing attack. So for as long as Derrick Henry can remain superhuman, you're going to utilize it. And I think Josh Connerly Jr. can really help you with that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think there's going to be, I think he's going to shoot up boards a lot more. I know he was ranked? The ADP was like 60th or something.
I don't know if it'll show me this here now.
But yeah, no. So I mean, either way, he's going to be either a late one, early to midday 2 guy, I think.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to go for your Lions here. They need Ben Johnson, but he is sadly gone, and I apologize for that. I feel terrible for you guys. I'm just going to say that now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's
I know you don't want to talk about it.
No, yeah, no need to talk about it too much, but yeah, it was brutal. I think what you're seeing though is like what Dan Campbell said last year after the NFC Championship of like, you guys don't understand how hard it is going to be to get back to this point. Yeah. And this year it's like, oh no, like you're playing the Commanders. Come on, you guys you're 15-2. You're the 1 seed. No, but it's NFL football, right? I mean, you have spectacular minds on every single team, right? And so at any given point, a player, a coach can scheme a great scheme. A player can play a great game. A player can play a bad game. And it's just the nature of the NFL, right? We can lose. Anybody can lose to anybody, especially in the playoffs. So,
I mean, I know we talked about this a couple of years ago, but like, remember when my Bengals lost in the Super Bowl and everybody was like, hey, don't worry, like you guys will have a chance again. But it's
Yeah.
like that's not the point. The
Right.
point is if you're going to have that opportunity, like the Lions did last year, to be up 2 possessions in a playoff game, you
Yeah.
have to take advantage of it because you never know. I mean, as a Bengals fan, I mean, we haven't made the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So with Joe Burrow in his prime, so you know what I mean. It just anything can happen. So
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Final comment here is the final 3 halves of Lions playoff football that I've seen have been heartbreaking to say the least. But at least pick me a good player here, Alec.
Yeah. So I did this last week, but they were actually picking 31st last week. But it's tough because I know Jack Sawyer might not run the best, but he is going up boards like crazy. And I think the momentum is going to stay. Him and JTT, by the way, I don't know if I said this last week, but they have 10.5 sacks in the 3 playoff games combined, which is crazy. And this against like 3 elite, Kelvin Banks and Cameron Williams would be 2. I mean, Kelvin Banks will go day 1, and then Cameron Williams might go day 1 or day 2. So I think Jack Sawyer's going to keep rising up boards.
Yeah, no, I like that pick there. And now, great, I have to pick for the Commanders here. How just salt in the wound is that?
You're going to pick a punter. Pick a punter for him.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, this is where I'm going to go here. I think this is where I probably get stop the fall of Mike Green. I should say fall I think he's got extreme upside. I mean, I think he did play really well against Ohio State, and that's what I think is going to stay in people's mind, and that's going to help him, kind of like what Genty did against Oregon, right? Is like when you have a spectacular player on a not necessarily spectacular team, what you do in your limited opportunities against great teams is very, 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 very crucial. And Mike Green, I thought, did play really, really well against Ohio State. So that game film is going to be on all the time, I'm sure. So I like Mike Green, and I think that they do just need some help off the edge. Jonathan Allen in the interior is great, but I do think they need some help off the edge here. So at pick 29, Mike Green out of Marshall to the Commanders.
Okay, real quick, I wanted to look up real quick for the Bills. I want to see what James Cook's contract is. So I'm looking at James Cook's contract, and there's going to be a reason for this because I think you know who I'm going to take. Okay, so next year is his last year of his rookie deal. I'm taking Omarion Hampton here.
Yeah, here we have James Cook's contract right here for you. Yeah. So final year on the rookie deal. And if he hasn't been extended by this offseason, definitely. Yeah, no, I like Hampton there. That's a great pick.
Hampton's going to be a stud. I mean, he's going to be a stud. I don't like putting bets on like running backs because it just depends on the situation. Omarion Hampton is a person that he might not be good his rookie year, but dude, if James Cook's not there and it's him versus Ray Davis for the backfield, Hampton's going to win out. Trust me.
Yeah.
No Ray Davis hate. I like Ray Davis too, but
yeah, no, he played really well yesterday.
He did. No, he did.
But oh man, this is tough for me because there's really no spot here that I love, realistically. I think Wyatt Milam might be where I end up going, just because I think he's going to slide into. I think he could slide into guard, I should say. But there's really nothing here that I love. I think JTT's a possibility. If we pull up what's left at edge here, I think JTT's a possibility. Shamar Stewart obviously is still there, but I do think he flexes a little bit more towards the interior defensive line, which I don't think is as big of a need. Jalen Carter's playing spectacular.
Jalen Carter's they put their balls on the table for Jalen Carter when they drafted him when he fell, and he is unbelievable.
Yeah. Now I will say I remember watching the draft with you that year, and when he was available at 6 with the Lions, saying, "Please, why are we not taking him?" Now we got Gibbs and Laporte out of it, so I think I'm just fine. But I will say the overall opinions on Jalen Carter were completely correct. So, I am going to go Milam here. So I was dragging that out a little bit. Milam's where I'm going to go. I think the offensive line is what is the core of that team, other than Saquon Barkley. The reason Saquon's so good with them is because of that offensive line. He was great with the Giants. He is unreal with a great offensive line. And I think that as you can continue to bolster that and just continue to keep that stocked and flowing with good talent. I like Wyatt Milam. I think he's a great run blocker too. I like that there. So I mean,
Yeah.
West Virginia has had. I mean, 2 years ago, or I mean, not the current season we're in, the 2023-2024 season, they averaged like 200 yards rushing yards a game. Their rushing attack was spectacular. Wyatt Milam is a big reason for that.
Yeah. No, I actually love that pick. I think that'd be a good pick in Philadelphia. A guy that could, I mean, maybe replace Lane Johnson or maybe slide inside. But no,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Yep.
This pick for me is a little tough. I actually like Trey Amos from Ole Miss. I really like that. I really like him. But I don't think I'm going to go there for this one. I think I'm going to go Tyleik Williams for interior D lineman for them. Chris Jones is getting older. It was between him and Harmon, but I'm going to go Tyleik Williams.
Okay, that's what I was just thinking about him and Harmon. I think the defensive interior, I think this is a great draft for it. There's a lot of depth there. So here it is, the full
this is exciting, dude. Mike Green, the first mock draft with Mike Green in it. I'm excited.
Yes, Mike Green's first mock draft. Who else is this? Is anybody else's first? Hampton was. I thought we had Hampton in. No, we had Hampton in the first one because we had 3 running backs going that one.
And Josh Connerly Jr. First time.
Yeah, first one with Connerly Jr. Yep. So, and first one with no quarterback first overall too. So no, this is every single week we have weekly Monday mock drafts coming out. If you're still watching at this point, nice work. You made it through 35 minutes of us yapping. But this is every single week now. So we are ramping up. We're going to start to get a little bit more creative with how we are doing this. Maybe we'll do an offense defense wheel and we'll have to spin that every week. Or every pick to see where we go, just to spice it up, make it a little bit more fun. So we're not picking the exact same players from now until the combine when nothing changes. So, but this has been another Monday mock draft. This has been the Sports Geeks podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
Puts up a three. Won't go. From the box. Back out to